Mangwana ni mwalelepo vukenjani Klekwas vanave Africa. Welcome to Africa Good Morning, the news and current affairs show that remains your portal into Africa's most potent stories. You are joined by Ashwin Berry on Friday, the 7th of August. Later in the show, we will be showing you the news videos of the week stemming from Namibia, as well as the WAFCON highlights. But prior to that, these are some of the stories we're looking at. South African clothing factories face labor strain after migrant workers leave. South Africa seeks new protocols for former president's foreign travel. Zambia's opposition leader Mundubile faces questions over presidential readiness. And Rwanda shuts more than 130 companies as illicit alcohol crackdown expands. DSTV 285, GOTV 25, oneup2.com, Network Media Hub, and NTVAFRIKA.MY.NA. That is where you can always watch the show. Top stories shortly.
Namibia is a land of movement, with waves that never stop reaching forward. Here, adventure is not something we search for. It is something we are born into. In every corner of this country, creativity rises, from artists, from athletes, from dreamers. And when the world comes to explore Namibia, they discover something extraordinary. Because when sport moves people, creativity moves ideas, and tourism moves the world toward us. Something powerful happens. A platform where movement meets imagination, where industries connect, where opportunity grows, where Namibia's next chapter begins. Welcome to the Creative Sport Tourism Expo. Exhibit, partner, experience. Creative sport tourism.
So before we get into our top stories, let's talk about the biggest tournament happening in the world right now. That's the Women's Africa Cup of Nations. And these are the results from last night. Mali and Ghana drawing 1-1. Cape Verde also drawing with Cameroon. Both games were incredibly exciting. And we're going to be showing you those highlights after the break as WAFCON is set to head into the quarter-final stage. But for now, let's talk about our top stories. South African clothing factories are closing, essentially. Well, they anticipate they might need to, weeks after xenophobic protests drove thousands of migrant workers from South Africa. The clothing factories in Newcastle, KwaZulu-Natal are struggling with labor shortages and idle sewing machines. Reuters visited 3 factories whose owners said they lost between 12 and 19% of their workforce during protests led by anti-immigrant group March and March. The South African Clothing and Textile Workers Union estimates 15% of Newcastle's 15,000 textile workers left. Factory owners say some foreign employees from Eswatini and Lesotho possess garment-making skills that cannot immediately be replaced, while union representative Siyabonga Ntombela argues qualified South African machinists exist, but low wages and commuting costs discourage them. Workers are generally paid per completed piece, with only the most productive potentially earning the national minimum wage of 30 Rand per hour. Owners say retailers pay too little for garments to support higher wages. February inspections also uncovered illegal labor practices at some factories, contributing to lost retail orders. Factory owner Alex Liu said his business is operating at a loss and will reassess by December whether to close or not, because some factories could face closure. South Africa's Foreign Affairs Minister Ronald Lamola has recommended new protocols requiring greater transparency for former heads of state undertaking foreign trips, following controversy surrounding former President Jacob Zuma's visit to India. During the trip, Zuma met Ajay Gupta, one of the businessmen previously accused alongside his brothers of benefiting from close ties to Zuma and influencing South African policy. Both parties denied wrongdoing. South Africa's High Commissioner to India, Anil Sokal, was photographed with Zuma and Gupta and has since been recalled, although he denies wrongdoing. Lamola said former presidents would be required to provide full details of planned trips so authorities can assess appropriate support and possible reputational, political and diplomatic security risks. Here is Ronald Lamola speaking on that subject.
An update on High Commissioner to India, High Commissioner Shukla. We confirm that High Commissioner Anik Shukla has been recalled to the headquarters for further consultations. We have also submitted the recommendations to Parliament and to the Presidency to consider a new framework for protocol and diplomatic support to former presidents and former deputy presidents during international travel. As part of this framework, the Presidency and DIRCO jointly established a mandatory disclosure mechanism requiring former presidents and deputy presidents seeking protocol and diplomatic support to provide full details of the purpose of travel, programs, activities, sources of funding, principal hosts, key engagements, and the capacity in which they will be traveling to enable an informed assessment of the appropriate level of support required and any associated reputational, political, and diplomatic or security risks that may be involved. This will help us avoid a situation where former presidents portray themselves as also representing South Africa's foreign policy, particularly when they have not been mandated by the sitting head of state. Thank you very much.
All right, now as Zambia looks towards its general election on August 13, Zambian opposition leader Brian Mundubile, his recent BBC interview has prompted discussion about his readiness to lead the country as Zambia prepares for elections. Mundubile used the interview to criticize the current administration's performance, but critics say they wanted greater policy detail and clearer plans for addressing economic growth, debt management, job creation, governance reforms, and cyber legislation. Political analysts noted that international media appearances give aspiring leaders an opportunity to identify national problems, present solutions, and explain how plans would be implemented. Critics argued that Mundubile's responses did not sufficiently explain how an administration under his leadership would address Zambia's economic and social challenges. Voters are increasingly seeking detailed proposals on reducing the cost of living, creating employment, managing public debt, strengthening democratic institutions, and balancing national security and civil liberties in the digital age. The debate following the BBC appearance has therefore centered on preparation, policy, clarity, and leadership vision expected from presidential candidates. Some viewers said questions about Mundubile's readiness would persist until he presents a more coherent and comprehensive governing agenda. Now, Rwanda's crackdown on illicit alcohol production and distribution has expanded, with the Rwanda Food and Drugs Authority announcing the closure of 27 companies on August 4 after 109 distilleries and breweries were shut on Sunday and Monday. The regulator revoked the operating licenses of affected manufacturers and ordered full recalls of their products. Manufacturers must work with distributors to retrieve products already supplied to clients, return stock to their premises, and submit recall reports within 3 working days. The action covers beverages including gin, whiskey, vodka, wine, and flavored drinks. Rwanda FDA also ordered the removal of related advertisements and promotional materials and warned that non-compliance would trigger measures under regulations. Inspections remain ongoing, with facilities facing closure. Officials said products worth more than 2.6 billion had been seized and nearly 360 million in fines imposed. And this is in the Rwandan currency. Inspections covered 246 production sites over 2 weeks, while at least 56 suspects were arrested. Health authorities reported at least 50 deaths in the first half of 2026, more than 500 people seeking treatment, and about 100 losing their sight after consuming illicit alcohol. Good move by Rwanda. This is still Africa Good Morning. Shortly, we will be heading into Namibia's news videos of the week. Let's get into our news videos of the week stemming from Namibia. During a visit to Windhoek Central Hospital, obstetrics and gynecology head Dr. David Mvula told Health Deputy Susan Njaleka the hospital has no dedicated antenatal ward, forcing pregnant women into labor ward and placing severe pressure on maternity services. This report is by Tuyeimo Haufiku.
Last week we have been actually having pregnant mothers downstairs because we don't have.
Yeah, and those rooms at postnatal, they are not equipped as this one, where you get all the material cut up of pregnant women. So it's another challenge.
Mini antenatal ward, and antenatal ward is for the pregnant patients that are not yet due for delivery, but they need hospitalization to be looked after. So you find that some of the patients here have been with us for the past 2 weeks. Some have been here for a long time. So then you can imagine that we house patients here. And now when a patient comes and they are in labor, there might not be space to accommodate that patient who is in labor. And we most often sometimes have patients waiting for the bench while the patients are moving up and to create space. That's one of the biggest challenges. That this is literally a labor ward, and unfortunately we don't have an antenatal ward, and that is actually creating a little bit of pressure.
Initially, this area is supposed to be for high risk patients who are coming from the regions. So now, because you don't send patients away, so it's like everybody comes, and when they come, you don't send them away.
And some of them.
Now, Environment Minister Indileni Daniel told the Standard Bank Biomass Fair in Oshuarongo that Namibia's 45 million hectares of bush-encroached land present opportunities for jobs through charcoal, wood chips, animal feed, and biochar industries. This report is by Philippas Joseph.
Employment was at 44.4%. That is an alarming. Agriculture, forestry and fishing accounted for 88.27 jobs. Just want to repeat that so that we're talking about agriculture, forestry and fishing, which stood at 88% of all the jobs. 77 jobs, not percent, pardon me, that are created through the three industries that I have mentioned. These figures remind us that every public policy, every investment, every natural resources or resource value chain must be judged by the decent and sustainable job it creates. Namibia has an estimated 45 million hectares affected by bush encroachment. That's quite a significant number of hectares, including about 10.5 million hectares are in this region. Out of the 45 million hectares, 10.5 million hectares are in this region. That is already telling us that, yes, this region where we are today is the region, it takes up quite a big chunk when we're talking about the hectares that are affected by bush encroachment. This weakens grazing capacity, groundwater recharge, biodiversity, and the road.
Now, Agriculture Minister Inge Zamwani opening the 22nd Aminuis Agricultural and Industrial Show on behalf of Prime Minister Elijah Ngorare urged young people to pursue livestock processing and exports, saying value addition offers growth opportunities. The video was contributed, but the update is by Desmarius Hansen.
This annual event brings together, as I said, exhibitors, farmers, innovators, development partners, and stakeholders from across Namibia. And I'm sure what brings them here, they are united by a shared commitment to advancing our agricultural sector and Namibia's economic growth and food security and rural development. The theme is both timely and profound. It reminds us that agriculture extends beyond cultivating crops and raising livestock. It requires innovation, resilience, and a culture of continuous improvement, which is what we are seeing here today. I grew up in this region, so I'm very, very familiar. I went to Readquell High School. I'm very happy to see my fellow alumni from Aminus Readquell School, and I can tell the difference between the quality of livestock that I'm seeing here and the quality of livestock that our parents used to farm with. So there has been innovation, there has been continuous improvement. So well done to those farmers who are here today.
Now, Deputy Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Land Reform Minister Ruthie Masake urged Ohangwena youth at the 2026 Environmental Conference, and this was in Henana, to pursue aquaculture and fish feed production instead of just buying fish from Zambezi. And this will create businesses and jobs. This video is by Lois Eshime.
Oshana, Oshkoto, Onsat. I once told them, you people, you are leaving money. You are buying a lot of fish from Zambezi, is it? The catfish. When you have enough water where you can keep this catfish. You just need 6 months for you to start harvesting. Sometimes they can grow faster to 4 months. Do you get me there? They grow quite well in our water. The flood water that normally comes once a year, how do we use it? Do you know that the Minister of Agriculture is selling to all Namibians a fingerling small fish is called fingerlings. At 20 cents, one, a small fish. Listen. I want you to be a producer of food. No. Wait. So if we buy these fingerlings, like the catfish, they don't need this artificial food. The flooding water, if we demarcate that area properly, you get me there? Put blocks here, so that you stock your fish there, the fingerlings there. The catfish can grow well using the natural resources without you giving it any supplements. Do you hear me there?
All right, some exciting news for the creative sector in Namibia as Education, Innovation, Youth, Sport and Culture Minister Dr. Sanet Steenkamp announced the Namibia Annual Music Awards will be returning on 13 March 2027 after 6 years. 6 full years, they are back, and the nominations will be running from 10 August to 11 September 2026. There's widespread excitement with regards to the return of Namibia's premier music awards event. Here is the minister in her own words.
And we will have to be creative. Let's admit that from the word go as well. It will cost more than the 10 million. But we will be creative, and we'll do that with solid partnerships. Partnerships that will be formed here tonight and formalized year after. So we see the Namibia Annual Music Awards as Namibia's premier music award platform, celebrating not just another award ceremony, but the very stage that the Namibian artists dream of reaching. We see it as a celebration of our diversity, our creativity, as well as our shared cultural identity. From the sounds of the north to the coast to the heart of our capital. And we see it as an engine for growing Namibia's creative economy by transforming talent into enterprise and passion into sustainable livelihoods. Above all, we see it as an investment in the next generation, giving every aspiring musician the confidence to believe that a successful career in music can begin right here at home before we go regional and international.
All right, brilliant stuff happening in Namibia. Thank you for joining us on Africa Good Morning, not just today, but throughout the week. And as promised, we're going to be leaving you with the WAFCON highlights until we meet again on Monday. Sweraj Zaganaka.
Ninth appearance in the Women's Africa Cup of Nations for Mali. And they managed to... Mali playing in whites, get the ball rolling here. Oh, there's the battling, nice ball down into the corner. And a good race coming here from Kusi. Kusi will get there first, he gets the ball over, it's a good delivery. Who's going to get the header? Great save from the goalkeeper coming down. Sarasu goes for the shot, it's not a bad one, it's been taken well there by Cynthia. Space Coudon. Lovely chance, she can get it back. Here's Doris Boisdois. Boris Boisdois goes for the shot, crossbar over the top. Denied by the woodwork. And inside, she's gone for it again. She does pick it up, looking, it's a little look up. Tries to pull the ball back up against Diana. There's the delivery coming in. From post, straight on it, very good. Down to take the lead. Perfectly set up, and look at that for a header. Diabate with the right foot, it's shot, it's a great goal! Mali have scored an equaliser! And she's only just come onto the pitch. A brilliant free kick. The region of Ghana with the delivery coming in! Oh, that's looking to score the second goal, there's the delivery. Excellent header.
Welcome to Casablanca and to the Labi Zaoli Stadium for the finale of the group stage of the 2026 Total Energies Women's Africa Cup of Nations. To the middle it goes. Space here for Cameroon to open the scoring. Striker goal against the post. And Bellew. And now Cape Verde can break at the other end. And there's that going. Well, it cannoned off. And now it's on Gwenny in. She gets the touch, but she gets the Abega to deliver the cross. Eto, into the middle it goes. They're queuing up Cameroon. Excellent opportunity and an even better goal. That is how you finish. Thumping drive. Watches on. Here's Lear for Cape Verde. Up towards Vat Morera. Nice touch away. And they're in behind. And there are blue-shirted players charging into the air. A striker goal. Oh, that is an absolute beauty from Vat Morera to bring Cape Verde level. Regain the lead. Nicely inside, it's going to fall here for Kome, striker goal. Again, they're trying to change that. Giving herself a fair bit of work into the middle, that's really good. A crucial touch from Lara, and then anywhere will do time at the back for Cape Verde.